All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about or documenting the end of the classic rock era and doing it in real time while we all still can. For people just like you and just like me, for a group of people like you guys. So Richie Sambora making some news, doing a Bon Jovi song for a good cause, and hanging out with current Bon Jovi guitarist Phil X, the guy who replaced him back in 2016. It was kind of weird. I didn't see that one coming. That wasn't on the bingo card. Sambora, who is now 65 years old, appeared as a surprise guest at the Rock for Responders concert, which sounds like a really good cause, on the USS Iowa in San Pedro, California. This happened on Thursday, last Thursday. And I watched about a minute and 2 seconds worth of Living on a Prayer. Yeah. And it sounded pretty good. I got to tell you. And Phil X is there. And that woman he hangs out with, Orianthi, I think her name is, or Orianthi. I'm not even sure how to say it. Um, I think it's kind of, I'm not a big fan of hers, but some people really like her. She's not my thing. The concert was put on to honor first responders in Los Angeles, also the military and emergency management partners who made up a crowd of thousands alongside their families. So it was a free concert for the people that make this country actually function properly. Sambora's encore performance was certainly a treat for fans of Bon Jovi to see Phil X up on stage. Here's what could happen with this band and what probably should happen. Um, so who knows if John can sing anymore, right? I think that's the real question. They say he needs more time to heal, and maybe they'll try it again at some point. But if you have Richie, who can kind of sing, he's a pretty good singer. And if you remember, he sang a pretty important part on Wanted, was it Wanted Dead or Alive, right? That was a song that Richie's like, we really need to write a song so the dudes actually like our band, because it was just a bunch of chicks. I saw Bon Jovi in 1990, and I can verify the chick part. I mean, chicks trying to jump over the wall, because I was hanging out. I've told this story a number of times. I was hanging out with John and Richie, and we would hear these screams and then a loud thump on the other side of the fence as there were women who were trying to scale the wall, because we were in this protected area where they had the barbecue, and it was like the meet and greet time. It was pretty cool. Doug Flutie was there too, because John Bon Jovi, and I'll tell it again because it's a fun story. John Bon Jovi is looking over at Doug Flutie, and he looks at me and he says, "Is that Doug Flutie over there?" And Doug was a big deal at the time. He had gotten the quarterback gig for the Patriots for a few years, couple of years, I think. He was still too short, but he would jump and throw the ball, and he was very athletic, and sometimes he would run, and he was a lot of fun to watch, right? So people enjoyed watching Doug Flutie play football, and Doug apparently liked to eat. He's also, I think, a pretty good drummer from what I remember about Doug Flutie. Anyway, John says, "Hey, is that Doug Flutie?" And I look over, I'm like, "Yep, that's Doug Flutie." And John said something like, "Do you think he's going to come over and talk to me?" And I'm not making this stuff up. I said, "I don't know. He looks like he's really hungry." He had a pile of food on his plate. It was a really good spread, and Doug was taking advantage of it. His 5'9" frame, he was just packing it in there. So I don't know. Some guys have really good metabolism, and apparently Doug Flutie is one of those guys. But getting back to John Bon Jovi and the band Bon Jovi. Richie coming back, I think, at this stage would give this thing some life. Fans would really love to see them back out there together. Richie can sing to some degree. He sounded better than John on this signature song, Living on a Prayer. By the way, the concert took place at the Maritime Museum that features the USS Iowa, a retired battleship that served during World War II and was open to the public as part of the Battleship Iowa Museum in 2012. This was a pretty big concert, too, because you had the Kings of Chaos, made up of Sammy Hagar, Robin Zander of Cheap Trick, and Glenn Hughes of Deep Purple. And actor Steve Guttenberg made an appearance, Mr. Police Academy. So that's, for people my age, that's like entertainment crack, okay? All right, I don't mean literal crack, all right? Just in case people are wondering. I know I'm going to get all kinds of messages. Dave, do you do crack? Why would you mention crack? Aren't you a Christian, Dave? I'm just kidding around, all right? I'm just doing this video because it seems like Richie Sambora can still perform. And it was a good cause, and this should spark a conversation, especially since he's hanging around with Phil X, the guy who replaced him. That shows that there's no animosity there. It also might be a signal to John that, hey, why don't we have Richie in the band? You could have Richie and Phil X in the band, and people, I think, would like that too. Anyway, folks, I'm feeling like this is kind of a Seinfeld video because it's really about almost nothing. But I appreciate people who continue to watch. Shout out to all the patrons who have patronized this channel as we go into a new month. Things always happen on the first of the month. So Patreon, if you'd like to support me, $1 a month, $2 a month. You don't have to. Also, buy me a coffee, which has been pretty cool. Not so much lately, but buy me a coffee. Super chats, which seem to be easy for folks to use. I call it the PJ Rock Super Chat. So if you want to leave like a couple of bucks on YouTube, that gets thrown into the pot, I believe, at the end of the month or in the middle or on the 21st or whenever that happens. But anyway, folks, I appreciate all those who continue to support this channel as I try to build a new channel. And I'm just winging it at this stage. Whatever happens, happens. If I get this job offer, say like, I don't know, Taco Bell calls, and they're like, hey, we need you in the drive-thru, then I'm bound for the drive-thru. That is my calling. I'm a communicator, right? I can definitely talk to people who are ordering their food, and I can make it sound really good and maybe upsell a few tacos in the process. You never know. But I'd rather do this, all right? I'd rather just do this. So thanks again. God bless, and I will talk to you soon.